Hello and welcome to the Right Click Safe podcast. I'm your host Calcio, and I'm joined today, of course, by my good friend Jimmy T. How you doing, Jim?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited. The same response that I had the last few we've recorded. That I'm excited today, but especially because we've got a fellow animator on. I'm very excited to chat animation.
As always, really appreciate you guys tuning in. If you are new here, please hit that subscribe button, and we'd love to see you again. Now, we've got a very special guest on today. He's one that I wanted to get on the minute I knew he was getting into NFTs. He's a guy who has built over 2.3 million YouTube subscribers off of the back of characters he's created and has now turned into NFTs. It's the mercurial talent. It's CoolmanDan. How are you doing, Dan?
What's up? Thanks for having me on, guys. This is sick.
You're more than welcome, man.
I think one of the best places to start is learning a bit more about you and how Spesh became such an iconic character. He's obviously now selling on the daily for thousands of dollars in his various NFT iterations. How did you actually first come up with Spesh as a character, though?
Yeah, I mean, so the whole character of Spesh, he's kind of evolved over the years, but starting in 2017 when I first sketched him, it was my first year making animations on the internet, and the first few months of me gaining a little bit of an audience. I just sketched this weird cat, rabbit, naked, white, two dots for nipples sort of creature sort of thing, telling the viewer that they're special, reminding them that you're special. And that character ended up just going viral in and of himself, and it was a very beautiful sort of like half silly, half serious message around you're special, don't forget that. And he ended up being my first like piece of merch back in 2017, like this little enamel pin. And then when I started, I made my first hoodies in 2019, he was on the back, that same graphic. And people took a liking to how he looked and what he stood for. And then as he sort of evolved through 2019, 2020, and then 2021, he got a little cuter and stumpier and chubbier, and I started building out his personality a little more. And he really did become like the main character in my universe, like the mascot. He's on the cover of my book and all that. And when it came time to figure out okay, if I were to do an NFT collection, what character would I use? I wanted to use my main dude that I knew people, loved already, and to show my commitment to this new world, this new culture. Boom, put Spesh, short for special on there, and it's a pleasant surprise that everybody loves him as much as I would have hoped.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think it's funny we live in a world where everyone always talks about all the kind of hate there is on the internet, but you see from how much people appreciate your characters and the style that you go with, that actually people have got much more of an appetite for this nice content rather than the what people say about everyone wanting to hate on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice reminding sort of like, hey, look at this derpy little chubby cutie, kind of reminds you to not take things too seriously. And you have people from all different walks of life, all different ages and personalities and backgrounds coming together over the fact that this character is silly, is cute, is inspiring, is stupid looking, is sick, is artsy, like whatever, and people coming together over this very simple character at its core. It's not too complex at all, and maybe seeing a little bit of themselves or the people they love in this character. And just like you said, why fucking go around and like preach hate, spread hate, when it's much easier to make friends and join this beautiful community. So it hasn't even been a month since mint. Actually, it's been 3.5 weeks, but it's been a very, very cool journey seeing this all come to life.
Yeah, that's been awesome.
How did you actually start animating, though? I think it's really fascinating to hear someone's sort of creative story. Obviously, for us with Jim, he does all of our animations, so viewers watching and listening can see all of the animation, that's all Jim. And there'll be times he sits there and starts telling me about various audio levels and errors with the animation, and I'll just sit there really vacant. But I'm always really interested to know how super creative people get to where they are. So what was it for you that actually made you want to start animating?
I grew up always doodling and always having such a profound love for shows like Adventure Time and Regular Show. You know, I'm 26 now, so when those shows were out in their prime, I feel I was 14, 15, you know, in high school, and I was amazed that these animations, these cartoons could carry such like profound meaning and connect with like the audience watching through like these like, you know, weird and zany characters like Finn and Jake. It's like a human and a dog, and there's like a half unicorn, half rainbow sort of, like, you know, just a zany sort of world that really gets you thinking. And I never thought I would animate, that's for sure. I always doodled, and, you know, I just didn't know how to bring them to life. And it wasn't until like 2016, 2017 where I started experimenting with just really taking my sketches on paper, like, you know, on a Post-it or an index card, and taking a photo of it on my iPhone and just vectorizing it from there. And I at the time I was, you know, editing like music videos and stuff to pay the bills, just freelance videography. So I was proficient in editing programs like Final Cut Pro. Yeah, cool. And I knew how to, like, you know, keyframe and layer and all that stuff. And I would just take these, you know, vectorized drawing images and put them into Final Cut and move it around that way. And, you know, I would have the layer, open mouth layer, closed mouth layer. Yeah. You know, audio was simple enough, and sound effects and whatnot. And you know, I was very lucky where really my first animation that I ever made, Snakes Have Legs, I still have the index card of the snake framed back there, actually. You know, that was the one that went viral, to my luck. The very first one I ever made, posted it, hundreds of millions of views all these years later, and I was like, all right, cool. Well, that worked.
Did it go? How quickly did it blow up when you posted it?
You know, definitely under a week. Wow. I remember I posted it, and you were able to like boost your Instagram post for like $15-20 back in the day. And I was like, I really want people to see this. I feel like it's cool. You know, my friends like it. It'd be cool if like it got beyond an audience of like my 2,000 Instagram followers at the time. And I legit paid like $15, and I think it just pushed it out to some of the right like meme pages, maybe. And then like once like one or two meme pages got a hold of it and they reposted it, it just like went like wildfire, and every corner of the internet, like iFunny, like type shit, like the deepest troves of the internet, just kept getting re-uploaded and re-uploaded. I remember I had to pay like some 14-year-old like meme page moderator on Facebook to tag me because he re-uploaded it and it was getting like 9 million, 10 million views. I'm like, dude, what the hell? Like, tag me. He's like, all right, pay me. I was like, all right, bro, like $40, here you go. He's like, oh, hell yeah, all right, cool. But I was 21 at the time, 22.
Monetize that.
Yeah, dude, I had to. I was like, I am not letting this go.
Yeah, for sure, man.
But it was a wild time, man, and it was really that first animation that you know, I just came up with this fake method of animating, you know, like physical paper and stuff, and it worked. People connected with the message, you know, regardless of like the simple imagery.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. Have you kept like your original, the little doodles that you made all the characters from? You said you got the one framed, your index card that you had. Have you kept a lot of the stuff?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's funny enough, a majority of the physical drawings from that time were done on like this little whiteboard I had. So cool. I would just like literally, do what I was doing on like Post-its and stuff, but on this whiteboard. Dude, it's so funny. I didn't know that drawing tablets existed for the longest time. But like, so some of them are lost in whiteboard, the whiteboard ethos out there. Yeah. But I do like, I keep a lot. Like, I have all my school doodles and notes, and You know, I think like I had an ex-girlfriend who actually had that snake postcard. I just gave it to her before it went viral, actually, back in 2017, and she gave it back to me recently, framed, which was very nice of her. Cool. But it's you know, it's wild that it all started. This digital, my life is completely digital art at this point, and it all started very physical. You know, just like simple pen to paper.
Yeah, I'm a chronic doodler myself. I find it mostly when I'm on the phone. That's when I just non-stop doodle. And I think we did a podcast. It was about 3 or 4 weeks ago. It was the first time I'd had this idea. I was like, oh, I'm gonna have a pad of paper so I can make some notes about as we're doing the interview. I can have a little chat, and then it was just a massive page of drawings by the end of the podcast. And when I listen back to the recording, all you can hear is just me scribbling with my pen all the way through. And I was like, oh God. So I've had to get rid of the bit of the paper now because otherwise it just ruins the recordings.
That's so funny. Did you like doodle a lot in school? Because that was like how I stayed awake. That was like my thing, you know?
My main one, I mean, I non-stop in school, constantly. My main one was in one of my exams, actually, where it was like a retake for English literature. I went in there and it was an hour and a half exam. I finished it in 45 minutes and I flipped it over. It was about Frankenstein, and I drew this awesome picture of Frankenstein on the back of the exam paper. And this was an exam that I'd failed. I was retaking, and I got a result back. I got like the top mark you can get, like an A star at the time. And my English teacher was like, whatever you did in that exam, you've got to do it again. I was like, yeah, it might have just been the doodle I did on the back.
What? Dude, that's so you think like they were impressed and they gave you like a little bit of extra credit or something?
I can't think that I'd failed it the first time, so I can't think I'd done such a good job. I mean, I hadn't done like any more revision on it. Dude, I went in and I finished it in half the time. I think they might have read it and gone, this is all right, this is all right. And then they sort of flipped over the back and thought, oh wow, this guy finished this. Must have finished this really quickly. And just gave me a few extra marks.
Do you have a lot of those still? Like, do you keep any of those?
It's funny because as I walked out and gave the paper in, I asked him, I was like, can I just photocopy that on the back? Because obviously it was on an exam paper and you give it away, you never see it again. And obviously they weren't going to let me do that. So no, that one's lost to the ether.
Dang. As well. Dude, I'm picturing like this sick, beautifully sketched out Frankenstein on the back of some like algebra quiz, you know?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it might be better in my memory than it actually was. But when I saw the result, I was like, it must have been good. Like...
Oh, dude, I could tell you one of my top proudest moments in my entire life was kindergarten, when I sketched with all these different colored crayons this like huge dragon, this huge green dragon breathing fire.
Nice.
And my kindergarten teacher was like so impressed by it that she put it on like the front of her desk, like in the front of the classroom.
Nice.
And to me, that was like I made it, dude. Like she put it like in that prime real estate. That was like the equivalent of like the Jumbotron in Times Square. I was like, damn,
that's the
dude,
upgrade
let's
to
go.
The fridge.
Oh, dude, yeah, no, it was like you're on that teacher's desk, bro. Like everyone sees that, you know. That was cool. That was cool if she did that.
Nice.
Danny, you've just minted out an incredibly well-received NFT product, and one of your best memories is a kindergarten dragon. Like, you know, we've got like thousands of people in Discord, 3.3 million plus on YouTube, and the memory that's sticking with you is a dragon from kindergarten. So I guess the obvious follow-up here is, when are we going to see the dragon in Coolman's universe? And maybe we could get like a rehash, and we could kind of bring him up as like a one of one, I don't know, charity auction or something. But this is what's so exciting about your work, and one of the things that really drew me to the collection is there's so much variety to the characters, and because you're so well connected to them, because they're your characters, it's completely and utterly up to you as to the creative license you take. Obviously, we are really blessed to have a lot of different rarer friends of Spesh, but I'm wondering which one is your favourite. Have you got one that you would secretly say is up there for you?
It's a good question. Someone asked me this on the Twitter space yesterday, and my answer holds true, where it is the triangle and the rectangle one of ones. That has very sentimental value to me, because those were amongst one of the first animated characters that I ever came up with in that 2016, 2017 era. And when I was coming up with the one of ones, like literally like less than a week before mint, I like kind of forgot that one of ones needed to be a thing. Which it ended up not being an issue, because I built up this whole universe of characters, you know, so there's plenty of other characters to use. But yeah, I made sure I used the exact file that I scanned and vectorized back in 2000. I think it was 2016. On my iPhone, like that exact file from like it has the metadata from back then, and I just like used that exact image just because it felt right. I could have redrawn it, but I was like, it needs to be that exact file, and that's like those two characters kind of started it all for me. So it means a lot to me to have those guys as a part of the collection.
Yeah, awesome.
Oh, I'm going to be honest with you, that's a little bit painful to hear. I'm going to show you now. One sec. Obviously, our viewers can't see this, but what I'm showing Danny is a conversation I had with Jim, or some messages I sent Jim about 3 a.m, saying, I think I'm going to pull the trigger on this rare special. And that rare special was a rectangle friend. So a little bit of a bag fumble, but it is what it is. The good news is we got the cat now. So, Nip Cat's here. He's here to stay. He's hosting the podcast, which is amazing. But I think one of the things that I touched on before, and I know that a lot of your holders love as well, is the huge variety of friends that you've already created and just the variance that we get within each special. But obviously we've kept a lot of stuff, or you've kept a lot of stuff quite mysterious still, which is a great way to do it, I guess, because under promise, over deliver. Is there anything you can give us hint wise, or any sort of snippets, or anything that you feel is really important for people to know about the project as it is right now, though?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So the beautiful thing about each special's accessories and pets from each different world is that they will tie into the eventual story arc that I'm building out over the course of this year, with the cutscenes that'll be tying the whole story together. So one of the things that I announced in the Q1 roadmap is that we're going to get that cutscene number 1, which is kind of like the prologue, explaining why Spesh is doing what he's doing on this mission, and also exploring kind of Spesh's motives and who he is, and where he's coming from with this whole thing. And that first cutscene ends with him crash landing on Planet Donut, and that kind of starts the journey. And then the second cutscene is him leaving Planet Donut, and all throughout these cutscenes there's going to be 7 throughout the year, and by the 7th one it kind of brings it all together like a short film. There's going to be Easter eggs that have direct callbacks to certain accessories, certain babies, certain pets, certain looks that it's going to be really fun. I really wanted to carry that Marvel sort of level excitement and Easter egg spotting for the audience, for the people to do their own piecing together, and sort of make their own predictions. And, one of the things that I loved about Guardians of the Galaxy, that came out in 2015. James Gunn said there's like an Easter egg in there that nobody has yet to crack, like to this day. And I love that notion that some stuff is so hidden and maybe obscure that you really have to think about it. I'm going to probably not have Easter eggs that are that hidden so that it takes 6 years or, and beyond to figure it out. But I'm going to make people like really use their brains and sort of like make it fun. And they'll be like, oh shit. Like they'll see something in one of the cutscenes that like pieces together perfectly with that last cutscene. I would say pay attention to maybe something your specie is wearing, or the particular pet baby they got. It's all going to tie together in the end.
Nice. I like that. Did that make it a lot harder in the process of coming up with the traits and how they're all going to, like the relationships between any of the traits and stuff when you were building out the characters?
I mean, to me, that's the easy part, dude. It's like coming up with the creative, that's fun. That's just sketching and doodling and going crazy, and tying it all together and coming up with a story always comes second to me. It's like I could come up with a whole cast of characters and just go buck wild with it like that, just pretty damn comes naturally to me, I guess, from like those school note doodling days. And then building out the world and the lore around it is the part that takes a little more time. But yeah, I think the fun part was just coming up with how these little species look. That was easy.
So a massive part of your Instagram content for me was the music. with them. I think like actually my favorite one of your videos on there, and I don't even know why, is probably the Vitamin C song with the little orange dancing around. I just love that. It just cracks me up. It's just a little bit at the end where he goes off and he just put French and a little asterisk that says French. It's quality. But what's the process around with you and your music? Is it all your own music?
Yeah, so like the Vitamin C song, for example, I found a beat that I really liked, and that particular beat was actually a buddy's beat. Sometimes I'll find like a song or an instrumental on like, you know, Epidemic Sound or something like, but I'll also, the other half of the time I construct my own beat. I'm not like, you know, great at music theory, but like I could work like a simple loop and like, you know, decorate and build on top of it. And but I think the real fun comes in the lyrics and like, you know, making it sort of wacky and loopable. And specifically with the Vitamin C song, I was watching an Adam Sandler movie, and I just like, I don't know, I just got this random burst of inspiration from his silly voices, and I recorded that like French orange singing about how important it is to be healthy. And yeah, they just like these ideas. My best songs and my best like loopable beats and jingles come from zero planning, just straight improv, because that's the best stuff, is when like you're with your buddies or with someone that you're comfortable being around and you're just being like unfiltered, goofy and silly. And you're able to just, you know, that's like the most raw, unexpected stuff, or you're laughing at what you just said. So having that energy carry through, I feel, is vital in those sorts of videos.
Do you have that so for me, I find I'll have like a real raw plan for something and I'll go to animate it, and actually 90% of the ideas that I have are actually as I'm building it in my animation software. Is that kind of similar for you?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, some things take like longer to plan, but and just by doing that, like you have to, like you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't plan ahead, and at least have some sort of structure written out. Like these cutscenes, you know, have to have that structure and that shot list that's going to be written out. It's going to be a fully produced, like Hollywood-esque sort of production. But with like, you know, the day-to-day animations, I feel like the only way the magic will be like properly conveyed to the viewer is by like keeping that raw energy while you're making it, not overthinking it, not trying to like write the perfect punchline, the perfect beat sheet. You know, in a world where like everything is like too like overthought or sterile, or like, you know, like network television like has to have the perfect amount of everything and this and that, and like the commercial plug and the promo. It's like, dude, like that unplugged unfiltered content, just being silly and goofy, it's refreshing to people, you know, especially in like an animation. So I try to go with that, you know.
With the Coolman's universe stuff and the cutscenes you're going to do, are you going to have a lot of music involved with them as well?
Oh yeah, dude. It's the best way I could describe it is it's gonna be like my day-to-day Coolman CoffeeDan content, like but on steroids. Like it's gonna have that look and feel, but it's gonna be, you know, it's like this is the perfect analogy. When the SpongeBob movie came out, the first one, it had the same look and feel and charm as like the day-to-day episodes, but it just had that little extra, like, or a lot of extra production value behind it, and it was able to tackle more storyline, and like it was more hype, and it was like you're sitting in a movie theater like, you know, crying because SpongeBob and Patrick are about to die and dry out, but then the fire sprinklers turn on, it saves them. It's this beautiful moment. That, like that type of shit. So it's gonna be like, it's gonna be like the same shit. It's the same characters that people know and love, but it's gonna be that extra sort of production value where it gets people like mega hype.
Yeah, I remember it was the I think it was South Park. I remember when they went and did the South Park movie for me. That was when they you could tell their budget had gone up massively. They had their depth of field. They had computer animated explosions.
Right. Yeah, you
like
can't entirely tell
blown.
what looks different when you're like younger, but then you're like, oh shit, like yeah, they just pumped a lot more money into this. With like, yeah, the depth of field. That's not in the regular episodes. Like the fuck, you know. Exactly.
I'm looking forward to it, man.
Thank you, bro.
Okay, so I haven't prepped you on this, sorry, but I am really intrigued to see if I say to you, right, we've got 1.5 ETH. I want to pick up another spesh for my family. I want to know what you'd get me to do, really. Like, I don't know if you could pull up OpenSea and have a look, but I'm super intrigued to see what you'd get me to buy, and I kind of feel like it'd be pretty awesome to have a custom selected spesh from you. I've got one from each world already.
What do you like? Do you have like how many do you have right now?
So I already own one from each of the 4 sets. Okay. I've got my cat as my friend, and then I've got one from each of the other 3 worlds. So I don't want to know, I guess, what you think I want. I'm just super curious to see what you think is a great spesh.
Well, are you leaning towards a pet or no pet? So
one of my favorites is actually this guy, and I'm going to get Jim to put a visual on the screen behind us for the listeners and viewers. He's got his little pet, he's got his little elephant. Yep. He's kind of mysterious though, he's got his leather hodens on, his little hat on, looks a bit like a detective. So I'm covered for pets. I just really want to know, CoolmanDan, to basically buy me a spesh. That's kind of what we're going for.
I don't have a pet. I'm feeling like I need to sort myself out.
I cover my bases.
I love the pets, dude. So my first question was going to be if you have one from every world. So that's definitely important, and you already covered that. There's a 420 watch that's available right now. I love that 420 watch. It's for 1.14. There's those like there's like a really cool Miami look with the it's like the green party glasses.
I see
like
him.
The triangular
he's cool.
glasses.
He is cool.
Those are real cool and confident and sexy. I love. Oh my god, dude! You said okay. You're below 1.3. I drew this this cozy sweater. It's like a striped. It's like a blue purple sweater, striped sweater. It's number 158. It's it's like it's a little furry. There's like little threads coming out of it. And he has the cat mouth, like the classic kitty mouth.
We're gonna go for one. You think 158 is the one, or is there one you'd go for? I want to know. Is there anything you'd go for? Where would you go?
158 is a real cozy looking one. I think that one's it, dude.
Yeah.
We're gonna pick him up.
Nice. That's good.
We're gonna get him. I didn't plan on doing that, but I was sitting there thinking.
Oh my god, dude!
We had Ben
cool,
on.
Bro.
When we had Ben on a couple of weeks ago. So,
dude, I have like one of those cozy sweaters like in my own arsenal. Like I was like, damn, dude, I need to buy one of those. Like I was FOMOing into my own project at a certain point. But just wanted to support.
Have you kept a lot? Have you kept or kept a lot of specials yourself?
Yeah, I mean, we have like the team Treasury, which is like super necessary. We wanted to make sure we covered our bases with that for future opportunities, and but when it came to like my friends were like, how many specials do you have? And I was like, I minted my 2 on Whitelist day to be a part of like that moment, but I don't know, like I don't have any more. And they're like looking at me like I had 2 heads. They're like, how do you not have more? I was like, dude, I don't know. I don't want to like hoard my own stuff. I want it to be out there for the people and to like do what it's meant to do. I didn't want to like buy like 100 of these and just like hoard them to myself. But now I bought a few more because admittedly I was FOMOing at a certain point. Now I have 5 or so. It's cool. Nice. It was cool to be a part of that moment on Whitelist Day, man. Like,
yeah, man, definitely.
Yeah, like it becomes available, and you mint your 2. It was a special moment. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, that's quality. I love it. Definitely having to expand mine. I was looking at it today, and I was thinking, right, what of my other NFTs can I close out to free up a bit of ETH? But I think it was Ethereum Towers has been pumping over the last couple of days, and I had one of them I bought for 0.3. I think I might be able to get about 1.2 out of it. So
Nice. I mean, when I hear people saying stuff like that, like they sold another piece so they could have some ETH available to dive into Coolman's universe, like that is such a amazing thing to hear, because you're essentially just trading something off so that you are able to join the party here. And
for sure.
the fact that people believe in it enough to do something like that is really wild to me. It's an honor. It really is.
I think my first one I sold my prime ape to get, so that was a good one.
Damn. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
No, but it's all about characters. I think that's one of the massive things that people kind of miss in the NFT space. And Jim's going to laugh again because I mention it all the time, but I just sold...
It has to mention it every episode.
...my collectibles business. And the reason that I love working in that industry, though, was that it was really easy because you're working with huge IP. I know you mentioned you're a big Marvel fan. And that makes it much easier, right? Because ultimately what happens is I don't have to do that much. They're coming in, they want an Iron Man or an Obi-Wan Kenobi related piece. It just sells itself because there's already this huge emotional attachment built up. And I think Coolmans is one of the first projects that I've seen where people, when I chat to them, are like, yeah, I remember watching some of your older videos from years back, and then they've already got this huge connection with your special motif, and it just really works really well. I think one of the things I'd love to see you guys do, and I personally would definitely buy them, is merchandise which has my special on it. Is that something you guys are working on?
Yeah, so that's not going to be something that's immediately coming out in February, but the opportunities around that are going to be really cool moving forward, because to be able to have your unique spesh on an article of clothing, on a physical item, like I don't want to talk too much about that angle, but it's a very valuable sort of approach that I know people would be super hyped on, and I want to make sure I do it the right way, and there's some time that I want to take to do it the right way. But there are going to be, even like aside from merch and physical items, there's going to be some really incredible digital sort of opportunities that come about that include your unique spesh in it. Yeah, I always have to choose my words super carefully when I talk about this stuff. But yes, I know it's very valuable because you want to see your spesh come to life, and I'm gonna make sure people are feeling good about that.
Nice. That was that's kind of how I first came into the space. Was I came in, like, bought an NFT, joined the Crypto Dads community, and then just thought, hey, it's gonna be cool, just start animating other people's NFTs for them and see what kind of reaction it gets. And yeah, it just went crazy. Everyone just absolutely loves seeing their NFT brought to life because they have this affinity with the characters, and they build some people build IP, they build relationships. It's just an emotional connection that you have, and I think that's why this space is so addictive. And once you mint your first NFT, you're done. That's it. You are down the rabbit hole.
I had my artist buddy text me last night. It's funny you say that, literally like a few hours ago, and he said, hey, congrats on the project and everything. I just minted my first NFT a few days ago, and I get it now. He said it like that, and I was like, wow. And this is like a traditional physical artist. He has like galleries, and he said that, I get it now. And I was like, yep, it really is that. And like many other stories with my traditional artist friends similar to that, it's like once you do it, once you dive in, you're like, oh, like, my buddies that I never would have thought would have been into NFTs, when my project dropped, they wanted to support and they got theirs, and now they're getting other projects. They're like, dude, this is so cool. It's a cool feeling. They're showing off their NFTs to their friends. It's like, it's cool. It's a very cool transition that we're going through right now. I feel like a lot more people are coming on board than before. People are getting it lately.
It's definitely a wave at the moment, especially even over the last few weeks. So many of my friends have messaged me saying that they were buying something, and I was like, I almost warned them there. I was like, yeah, once you've bought one, you are going to be down the rabbit. You're going to be up till 4 a.m. every night, browsing OpenSea.
Right, dude. Oh
Discord.
my God. Dude, I wish I could see like my screen time on like how much time I spent on OpenSea the past month and a half since I've like officially joined the space. Like,
Yeah.
it's all day, every day, dude. And you know, Twitter as well. Like, I wasn't really using my Twitter that much
Yeah.
before I started like really learning the past few months and engaging with people. And now it's just like, dude, all day, every day, just tweeting, liking,
Yeah.
retweeting, seeing what's up, like saying hi to people, all up in the
GM.
DMs. Yeah, GM, you know, every day in some way, shape, or form. Discord
Yeah.
too, man. I wasn't even like,
Yeah.
I had Discord, but I really didn't know how to use it. And then it wasn't until this past summer where I really like, I was like, okay, like I'm gonna, I have to learn this. I'm gonna like understand the ins and outs here. And I'm so like, now it's like, you know, my life, and I'm
Yeah.
completely immersed in it. But yeah, it was like the past 6 months have been so transformative for me, just in terms of how much I've learned.
Yeah.
And I've always been a big proponent of, you can only learn by doing it. Just forget about taking a course or going to 4 years of animation school, for
Yeah,
example. Just like start animating, figure out your way, and that's always been my mentality, and that's what happened here. And I'm glad that it you know, it all kind of came to this, because it's just it's more proof that you just got to dive in and do it. You know.
Yeah. 100%. I couldn't agree with you more, man. I think obviously I've been in crypto since 2017, but for NFTs I was pretty skeptical about it. I had a friend who had bought a load and was telling me about them, and I was at first really skeptical, and I said, actually, you know what? This is exactly what I was like with Bitcoin in 2013, 2014. I'm gonna buy one. I'm gonna join a community. I'm gonna try and make one. I'm gonna try and mint one. And I think I did all those four things in my first month of NFTs, and it just, yeah, no looking back. I've now, my last day at my normal job yesterday. Now I'm just full
Wow,
time doing
congrats,
stuff.
man.
Yeah, cheers,
That's
man.
awesome. That's big. That's
Yeah,
big. I'm
big,
curious, what are
yeah.
the like parallels that you've seen in NFTs compared to crypto in 2017?
Well, crypto is just, it's so sterile in comparison. Like NFTs, there's a community, there's emotion, there's for me with my animations, there was an audience of people actually really keen to see it, to enjoy it, and it's just completely different. Like with crypto, you don't have that emotional connection. It's all about the money, and a lot of people will first come into NFTs looking to make some money, but then realize how bigger the other side of NFTs are. If you flip it over, you suddenly just, bang. I think all three of us know that we've all fallen down the rabbit hole hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It definitely provides this whole new element to like, you're investing, yes, but now you're investing in art and in artists.
Yeah.
And before it was like very binary with like, yeah, you're investing in Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever. But now you have this really beautiful piece of art that all the while you could be just stoked about owning it, and in love with the piece, and really engaging with the community around it, and feeling connected with the storyline and the lore around the characters, like what I'm building with Coolman's universe and Spesh. And it adds such anytime you add an emotional element to anything, like what Walt Disney did with Mickey Mouse and Disney World, or what Jim Henson did with the Muppets. It takes it to that stratosphere level where it's, even if it's making money or whatever, like it almost doesn't matter. That's like secondary. It's the emotional journey and the lessons and the people that you meet through this, and that's what really matters at the end of the day. Is that's why art has existed since prehistoric times. It's timeless, and it makes people feel. And I think in many ways it's the meaning of life. And the fact that it happened like this, through crypto and this Web3 movement, man, it's a very wild thing. Like, I was trying to imagine myself trying to explain it to myself a year and a half ago. It's just impossible,
And you feel so part of it. I think that's the difference for me as well, is that it's the connection between the project, the community, and the artist is so much stronger than anything else. You feel a part of, as it's being successful, you feel a part of that success. You feel like you've helped as being part of the community, and that was definitely a big thing for me as well.
Yeah. No, I'm happy. I'm happy to hear that, man. Like, it really is going to be interesting to see where this goes, in 2 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years. Obviously, I'm in it for the long haul here. This is my life. This is my life's work. It's my main
Yeah.
character. It's, all the lessons and aesthetics and styles and everything that I've built up since like that dragon sketch in kindergarten. So it's like I'm not going anywhere. I'm really excited to see where this goes.
But I think that's why I was so gassed about the project. I know I've mentioned it a few times, but I speak to or see so many people who have to get, and again, I'd be the same if ever I launched the project. They have to have a separate artist. They have to try to create a vision really quickly because they don't want to, wait. They want to take advantage of the market now. Whereas with you, we've got someone who has a track record of working with these characters and creating a genuine storyline, and you've proven that you can do this. One thing that I really wanted to touch on, though, was actually your perspective on how you felt. Because for years, I know you've released merch and odds and sods like that. It's not been about making a buy and sell relationship between you and your viewers. Obviously, again, you earn off of them watching, but they don't have to pay, right? Whereas now you've got, like what we just did with the Spesh, where I just spent the best part of $4,500, and every single day you're getting the same thing. Has that kind of messed with your head a little bit? Like, how does that actually feel? Because it must be pretty overwhelming.
Bro, it is, and first of all, I appreciate you doing that. Like, it's easy to get caught up in just like the sheer volume that's being pushed and forget that there's people out there spending money on your art, thousands of dollars. And I want to really drill into people that I am so appreciative of that. Like, it's all very new to me. And I'm like, it's a beautiful thing because people believe in what I'm trying to do here, and they see the vision enough to spend their hard-earned Ethereum on me and my vision, and it's crazy. I mean, this is like I've never seen so much fandom and excitement and enthusiasm around me and my work and my characters at any other point in my creative career. And this is like, this is me discovering YouTube in 2006, 2007, the millions of followers that ensued over the past decade and a half. Like, dude, I've still never seen this amount of hype around anything. Like, I'll post a video to get like, 2-3 million views and people will vibe with it, but it's just kind of like the flavor of the day or the week, maybe. It's people forget about it, and it's just whatever. It's cool. It's like, that's the bread and butter right there. And if I can make someone's day, then awesome. But it's a different feeling with this. Like, you have people talking about, like I see it up in the Discord, you have people talking about how they're never going to sell their Spesh, and they're keeping it for life. Unless someone offers them like 50 ETH for it, which at that point it's like, yeah, go for it, sell it. But it's just a whole different conversation now. It's a whole different caliber of hype, and I never would have thought I would be in this position, to be honest with you. At least not so quick. Because it really did happen from like conception of like, hey, like, let's do this, to mint day, like 5-6 months. It's pretty quick in the grand scheme of things. I've been trying to crack the code for like 10 years, dude, like really try to figure out, what does this art do? Like, what utility does it have on this planet? And I figured it out along the way, bit by bit, but this was such a large bit. This was such a large leap, not even a step. And now it's like the vision is so clear, and I realize like there's so much to do now. Like, all the opportunities have been bursted open, and it's gonna be a very fun year of rolling all those opportunities out, and also just teeing it up for 2 years from now, 10 years from now, like, the future, the longevity of this project and this vision, and it's me, man. Like, it's very cool. Even the fact that I'm on this podcast, man, it's all like it's all a wild fever dream, and I'm here for it,
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean, man. I think there's a lot of people excited about 2022. I'm proper gassed about it. I know Calcio is. He's sold his business. I've quit my job. We've got such massive plans
Congrats
for
to
this
both
year.
of you. Damn, that's huge.
Yeah, it's
good
awesome. And I
fun.
just think there's so many people out there in this, especially the way the last few years have been, like for everyone, to have something to get this excited about and get your teeth into. It's just so much fun.
Right. Yeah. It's going to be a fun year, man. I mean, with how sucky 2020 was,
Yeah.
I feel like it did some good in laying the foundation with crypto so
Yeah.
that, NFTs could fly in 2021. And still that was early, and people like, you or me were still learning about it.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, I think the foundation was sort of laid down for NFTs in 2021. Now it's time to build on top of it. And I can't wait to see where that goes, man. Wild things happen when talented, creative, enthusiastic people just start doing their thing freely and building, and it happens quick.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a hell of a ride this year.
for sure.
One of the biggest things for me though is just how approachable people are. Like again, I'll use you as an example. You're a super successful guy. You've got over 2.3 million subs on YouTube. You've got a project that's just minted out and it's doing incredibly well. I reached out having bought my first couple of specials and just sort of assumed you probably wouldn't reply. I had a message back within 2 minutes saying you were down to jump on the pod. And I've generally experienced that across the board, really. People like AJ Vaynerchuk were just super relaxed, really generous with their time, happy to chat and kind of work with us to make sure that the format was, really good as well. So a big thank you for that, I guess. And it's the other thing is that when people are really approachable and relatable like that, and you know as an investor, you feel a lot more comfortable because it's a bit of a culture shock, right? We're used to our icons and the big names in spaces or industry, being quite reclusive. And I understand that you want your own privacy. But when someone is really
Right.
willing to break that fourth wall and interact with their audience like you've done here and so many others have as well, it does really create that long-term connection. So again, as I said, thank you so much for coming on. It's a huge pleasure.
Dude, of course, bro. Nah, man, this is I like the thing, like when I discovered YouTube when I was a little kid, when I first started uploading my animations, in 2017, like all like the constant with all these new like ventures I would hop on would be me eagerly trying to put my work out there so I could connect with others, and just like meet new people and have new experiences and do cool new things because of my art, my art acting as the catalyst to that. And this holds true with Coolman's universe, with my species. Like the amount of good people that I've had reach out to me, and the amount of love that I've been receiving, and it's just, this is what I always wanted whenever I did a certain sort of creative project throughout the years. Like, and I'm happy it's happening here too, man. Like, this is what it's all about. Like, just meeting and chatting and, being real hopeful for the future. If this project went this well, but like I didn't hear a peep out of anybody, nobody hit me up, nobody wanted to connect, nobody was like, like saying, hey, if you're ever in this part of town, let's link, I don't know if it's worth it, man. Like, it's all about the life and the people and the pizzazz that come with the art and the movement and the culture and the projects, and it's happening here more than ever, man. So it's a cool moment right now. I'm very happy to be here.
Nice, cool, awesome. I think with something we do with all of our guests is we fire some quick fire questions at them, just about NFTs in general, or your experience with NFTs. If you're up for doing that. Has to be quick answers. Don't think about them too much. So cool. I'm assuming that you did some trading of NFTs. So worst ever trade for an NFT?
I've held all my NFTs.
Nice, good man.
Yeah.
I like it. That's good.
Yeah.
How about do you buy many pre-reveals from mint?
No, I mean I've bought all mine once the art's out. Yeah, okay. Like I need to be vibing with that look there.
If there was one project you could nominate for it to go up to 100 ETH floor, what would that project be?
Oh,
But
damn.
it can't be Coolman's. It cannot be your own project.
Dude, I was just on the phone with Vinny Hager a few days ago, and that motherfucker is so cool, and we were just having a blast. And he's actually going to be in LA in a few days. We're going to be hanging out. Just I really like his story and like what he stands for, and it's such beautiful traditional art, and he bridged such a gap between the regular fine traditional art world to this new NFT movement, and he did it so elegantly. I feel like, yeah, if it could happen with him, man, that's a win for everybody.
Nice.
They're doing really well. They are doing really, really well. Sorry to interrupt you.
It's at like a 2.5 ETH floor right now or something.
Yeah, and I kept being told to buy them by one of the dad holders. He's like, "Okay, I'll buy some of these. I've got 4 or 5 of these." I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll do it next time." And I mixed it because I didn't read into it a little bit more, and I wish I had done a little bit sooner. But yeah, so
Yeah, it's gonna keep going up.
And then the opposite question. So if there's one project you could make disappear,
Oh man.
no one loses any money. No one loses out.
I saw Pepsi release like a real shit generative project. It looked so bad. It looked like some 2007 PlayStation sort of graphic game, dude. Like I think that could disappear and nobody would blink an eye, bro. Nobody would miss that one.
Nice, good answer, man.
Pepsi mic drop, I think it is, isn't it? It's there,
That's the
like
one.
the microphone.
And that was your mic drop there.
Damn. Yeah, I'll never be able to work with Pepsi again. I never worked with Pepsi to begin with.
Dan, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Honestly, I really, really appreciate your time. I'm going to get on the Twitter Spaces as discussed very soon as well. I've been your host, Calcio. Make sure you guys do subscribe because we do put a lot of work into this content. I say that generously. Jim does most of it. But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. Calcio and my co-host, as always, Jimmy T. Have a lovely evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks again, Dan.
Thanks for having me on, guys.